I am DYANAROZAY, and I bring a unique commentary to your favorite reality TV shows and whatever is popping on social media. If you are not a subscriber, please become one. Hit that notification bell too, that way you don't miss any of my videos. I go by DYANAROZAY on all platforms, and I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. What's up, Supreme Team? Welcome to the Fireside Chat Show. We are here to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. Y'all know I missed last week, episode 7, but I am going to combine the two tonight so that I can get it out of the way, child. I apologize. I was not on my job, but I do appreciate all of you coming in to join me tonight. If you can hear the sound of my voice, let me know by putting your city, your state, your country, your island, your territory, wherever you are from. And also let me know if you brought the s'mores or the hot chocolate or whatever it is, okay? I see someone is in the comments already saying that Kelli has no life. She lied on everybody. I believe Portia and Kelli thinks that she's using Shamia, and Shamia got her and Kay doing her dirty work. Funny you should say that, because I'm about to bring some points to this live for you guys. I know that people are, have very strong feelings about, cast members, and, sometimes you overlook the very, very obvious. But I want to bring up some things. This is a very short synopsis of what went down in episode 7. Because it was a hot wreck, okay? It was a hot wreck. First, I'm going to say that Miss K. Michelle has done multiple interviews. Hold on one second, y'all. Miss K. Michelle has done multiple interviews, since episode 7 aired. And the way she has played herself, just within the last 5 days, in regards to that damn scene between her and Portia, her crying, saying, "How dare you guys, put out a plot to take me down." Number one, there's nothing to take down, Kay. You are still a newbie on this show. And yes, you're a star in the music world, but a lot of people are still trying to get to know you, and there is nothing to take down. You have not, shown yourself to be anybody on this show yet, other than a disappointment, a whiner, somebody who doesn't know how to get their point out, constantly taking the audience on a dog and pony show with, "I'm smart, you don't know what I know." Girl, none of us do. That's what's frustrating. You've been on reality TV before, so you know how it works. And it's coming off as you are being very, very insecure. Okay, so let me start there. I wrote this out. So I told y'all she's done multiple interviews. She's already revealed that it was Drew who is the mastermind behind the plot. Okay, she said it's Phaedra, Drew, and Portia. This is what she said in her interviews with Shannon Sharp. Who else? Cam Newton. I think there were 2 other podcast shows she did. She ends up saying it. So she's going to put Shamia's name out there eventually, Shamia. If there's one thing K. Michelle does not know how to do, is hold her liquor. She don't even have to drink, baby. Her lips are loose and she sinks ships. Even if it's her own, she's gonna sink it. So that's number one. Come on in, you guys. I'm sorry I'm doing this late night live, but I got to do it tonight, okay? Because I got some other things on the list for tomorrow. But so she basically said it was Drew who was the mastermind, and it was Portia who was basically running the play. Dumb, because Portia is the star, and she has no reason to try to knock you off your square. Y'all not even on the same level. You're sharing the same platform, but you're not sharing the same star in regards to this show. unfortunately. And everybody with eyes can see it. Also, you already played yourself because first you said you heard the rumor before you even started filming. Yet you sat your ass at dinner in Dallas and you tried to check Shamia, okay? You tried to check Shamia for going after Drew. And that was the first thing you said. Girl, are you ever going to let this die? Cut it out. Then all of a sudden, Drew becomes your enemy after that. If you didn't like Drew, if you didn't quit her, you wouldn't have been asking Shamia to be cool. And that's on facts, okay? That's the first thing. So we know that we know Shamia and Kelli has something to do with it. We know it. Hold on. That's not all. The other point I want to make is this bullshit that you just played. Again, you played yourself by saying Portia's dating your ex. She's bouncing up and down on your ex. You moved into a home that's 2 doors down from Portia. Again, you knew there was this big plot. You know that a man that you don't even like, you don't even respect, whoever this ex is, oh, he's an African and he put his feet on my countertop. And if she would have told me, I would have said the man puts his feet on your counter. Girl, do you like the man? Do you have any respect for him at all? You said he's a friend and you're on TV talking about him like this? Again, you have no respect for anybody. You don't like anybody. Everybody is somebody you can use for the moment, and that's what it's giving. And there's a lot of people who really like K. Michelle, but this is how she is coming across right now. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Anyway, hold on again. Hold on again, y'all. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I am back. Anyway, her saying that her running around town telling everybody that she watches her new husband sleep with other women. He is a professional. He offers services to the public. That's the wrong move. It's just the wrong move. That's way worse than anything Toya has ever said about Eugene over there on Married to Medicine. That's another thing that's getting on my nerves. What else? What else? Let's talk about Shamia real quick. This is the other thing that I want to point out about Miss Shamia. So y'all remember last year, Sweet 16, episode 1. I've said this multiple times. It was Shamia who carried the bone to the viewing audience saying that Drew was sleeping with Dennis. She started it. She asked the question at her birthday party. She said, I have people who reached out to me and said, you guys were wearing matching outfits. You were hugged up in the club. And then when everything went awry, everybody blamed Portia for it. It was Shamia who started that rumor, which is why Shamia and Drew aren't cool now. That's number 1. Okay. The other thing Shamia did, if y'all remember when Drew and Angela came to visit Shamia at the studio, there's something that Drew says about she could pay for Pilar's college. She said something like that. My album is going to pay for Pilar's college or something like that. Portia actually sits down with Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live. And Andy asked Portia how she felt about it. And she said, well, I first heard about it from Shamia. And she said Shamia put way too much stank on it. Because when she saw the scene, she was like, It's nothing like Shamia told me. That's the second time Shamia has messed up on the show with how she carries bones to people. Third time was this season when, well, that's not really the third time, that's the fourth time, because really all the bones she carried throughout season 16, burning down her friendship with Portia, even though we as an audience saw Shamia hanging out with Portia right after Portia had announced her divorce to Simon, that she was getting a divorce. Her and Shamia were hanging out. They were on vacation together. They were on private jets. They were doing dinner and lunch and laughing and giggling. They literally was chronicling every moment together, damn near. And so for us, the audience, we thought Shamia and Portia were cool until Shamia started telling everybody on the show that they weren't. So that's another messy ass thing that Shamia did. And then this season, season 17, I can't tell you how many times production ran the camera footage back of Shamia getting the conversation wrong regarding Phaedra saying that Pinky wasn't a vegan. That's not how she said it exactly, but she got it wrong and she spread it all around the group and to whomever else. And Pinky was ready to whoop Phaedra's ass, saying all kinds of nasty stuff, talking about I'm on the board of PETA. Who cares? But now we should know that Shamia doesn't know how to get a story right, and she'll wrap some shit into something. So I'm laying this as the foundation for what's going on with Miss K. Michelle, because K. Michelle is believing in a person who doesn't know how to tell a story correctly. Clearly, she plays with people's emotions, even if she doesn't mean to. She does. And people need to take what she say with a grain of salt. That's all I'm saying. So welcome everybody into the chat. Thank y'all for joining me for this evening chat. And we are talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I say all of that to say that Shamia and K. Michelle right now, those two are getting on my nerves. Those two are getting on my nerves, okay? All right, so anyway, let's get into it. You said Shamia wants Sheree's job. I miss Sheree, don't you? If I had to choose between Sheree and Shamia, give me Sheree all day. Oh my goodness, Shamia's a mess. And now that we know more about what's going on between her and Gerald, sounds like Gerald is giving Shamia an ultimatum. Okay, give me my son or get the fuck on, is what it sounds like. Portia is a liar, and so is Phaedra, so is K. Michelle. Or you said K. Michelle ain't been a liar yet. She's a liar today. She's a liar on my channel. K. Michelle, literally, if you listen to any of those interviews for the last 2 days, 3, 4 days, K. Michelle has twisted her conversation every which way but loose. And she definitely is lying about who told her what, because first she said she heard it before she came on the show. When she gets to the end of the episode, she said that someone called her while they were in Dallas. Which is it? That's a lie. That's a lie. So she definitely lied. Okay. So let's get into these scenes. It opens with Kelli. Unfortunately, Kelli doesn't have a storyline. She is sitting at one of her restaurants crying the blues with her mother and her grandmother. She said that her new location is doing horribly. She owes over $500,000, and she said that it's not making the cut. She's not even able to break even at the end of the night. Okay, so she's paying way more in bills than she's actually bringing into the restaurant. And now she is considering filing bankruptcy. She's blaming it on her husband, though. Even though she was talking about how she was the one with the business sense and it's her business and yada, yada, yada. In the scene, Kelli says that she made some mistakes being a co-signer on a bunch of loans that her husband made. And I was like, girl, Wrong move. Wrong move to even say, to make it seem like this is where you're dumb and naive, because that's not true. I don't believe that for a half a second. I think that you both needed the money. I think that you both went and did exactly what you wanted to do. And then when things didn't work out, it is what it is. As of right now, Kelli is lying to me. I don't think she's being as truthful. She also says that her husband is trying to sabotage her jobs, whether it is the restaurant or her being on RHOA, by not letting her film with their daughter. She said that her children are a big part of her story, and so she's pissed, okay? Then we get a scene with Kelli in a confessional wearing a t-shirt, and that's it. And the production team must have said, girl, did he steal your clothes too? Because like I said, why wouldn't you put some clothes on, at least a pair of shorts or something? And Kelli said that she's wearing Tom Ford, so she believes that she's, fashionably dressed or whatever. Womp womp, Kelli. Bad move. Shouldn't have done it. Anyway, she goes on to make a fake phone call, because I'm going to call it fake. If you know you're going through all of this shit, then why can't you at the very minimum have a real boyfriend? She calls a man that she calls baby, then 2 other aliases, because she's not allowed to say his name. Tony Starks and I don't know, Javier, whatever she called him. Either way, boring. We don't need any more boyfriends in the phone. And he didn't even want to talk to you. He was like a cousin or a brother, somebody who said, you know what? Nope, I'm tired of you. Don't call back here. I'm busy. So yeah, just a hot ass mess. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else to say. We'll figure it out as the season goes along. Right now, Kelli is doing interviews and she's trying to make it seem like Portia went after her. I'll say this. She made it seem like Portia went after her in her Amazon Live right before filming started on Sweet 16. I was a part of that live. I watched it. Portia did not go after her. She said something to the effect of, she was calling out all the ladies and giving a description. There was nothing disrespectful whatsoever. But the interview is over there on Straight No Chasers page. Anyway, long story short, the most Portia said is there's someone named Kale. I don't know that much about her, but I heard some things. That was it. And then she went on to say that she was a restaurateur, that she was business savvy, that she was smart, and that she's excited that all of these women are coming to the show. So for Kelli to come in as hot as she did, because if y'all remember, when Portia first meets Kelli, Kelli said some shit like, why was you sleeping with that woman's husband? Or that was her first thing. She didn't say, hello, my name is, nice to meet you, nothing. That is how she came at Portia from the first day of filming. So I'm just going to say she started off wrong. She's still wrong. If she gets a 3rd season, hopefully she does something that makes people want to go over there to that restaurant and eat, because she is digging her own damn hole. That's what I think. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about K. Michelle. K. Michelle is at somebody's dentist office with her big dick husband. That's all she wants people to know, is that he's working with this big schlong. Anyway, the 2 of them are sitting down waiting for her to get called back. I guess she's about to do some sort of cosmetic surgery. And she said she doesn't want her husband, who's a dentist, to do it. I don't know what type of dentist he is, if it's cosmetic or otherwise, right? Anyway, she was on Watch What Happens Live on Sunday. And what she told Andy Cohen, actually, she said, Mr. Andy, because Andy did ask about his thing, okay? She said, Mr. Andy, her words, not mine, that her husband's thing is so big that it hangs down to his knees. That's what she said. And she said that she always wonders about the women that sit in his dentist seat to get any type of procedure. All of this is stuff that would set him up for some sort of essay lawsuit. To be honest, I don't know why she would say that. K. Michelle doesn't have a whole lot of couth, or she doesn't have a lot of protection for not just herself, but for this man that she just married 45 days in, or whatever the case may be, while this show was filming. Anyway, Andy Cohen asked her if she would mind if he goes to visit him for a dentist appointment. And Kay just giggled, but probably by the end of the week, she'll be threatening Andy Cohen on Twitter. I'm just saying, because she doesn't seem to think about the words that come out of her mouth, but she wants everybody to react to her, above bar. Like, everybody needs to be above bar when they speak to her or respond to her bullshit. So that's where I am with K. Michelle, just so you know. I'm not liking her this season of RHOA. But again, this is her first season, and people have room to self-correct. So I'm not going to say kick her off. I'm just going to say right now, I don't like her. I don't like her. Okay, now let's talk about Phaedra, Angela, Portia, and Drew, because they all meet up to have dinner and to rehash the Dallas trip, okay? Phaedra tells the ladies that she truly believes that Kay, somebody within this group told Kay that both her, Portia, and Drew set up some sort of plot to take her down. A plot, for Pete's sake. Drew said, well, who would have told her that shit? Even though I'm sure she has an idea. Drew said, who would have told her that? Because nobody's thinking about that woman. We are literally still fresh into the season. We don't hang out with each other that much. What's the biggie? Portia said it's the voices in her head that told her that, because at this point, Portia's like, the girl got to be crazy. I don't know, and I'm not going to put a whole lot in it. And we all know that Angela's going to run tell that as soon as she possibly can. Okay, because Angela tells everything. Angela is the bone carrier, for real, but she also brings her own story. Anyway, Portia and Drew jokes about how they barely know K. Michelle. They're trying to get to know her. They're trying to get to be this girl's friend. So why is she being so emotional with them specifically, right? And Portia said, listen, that girl who just lives 2 doors down from my house, literally, they are neighbors. She said that she's crying. Y'all remember on her first episode, she cried to Portia about how the Atlanta girls aren't genuine. They're not genuine. They're so mean to me and all the stuff. And Portia like hugged her and tried to console her. Well, in this scene, Portia said, this girl isn't trying to be friends with anybody. That shit she did at my house was a whole joke. And she's not lying. It was a joke. So she's like, I don't know how to take her, but I'm in my happy stage of life, okay? I am done with this ex-husband of mine. I'm trying to make this money to stay in this house. I'm not going to put all my eggs in Kay's basket. I don't care. Anyway, after all of that, the ladies get a good laugh, and I have to tell y'all, this group of girls, Drew, Portia, Phaedra, Angela, they are giving the old school RHOA vibes. I like them as a group. I feel like I am eavesdropping on grown woman conversation when I hear them talk. You know what I'm saying? I want to be wherever they are. They just seem like a good, fun time. Angela is laughing. She genuinely likes the girls, Drew, Portia, Phaedra. You can tell they really want to build something with each other. Whereas the other girls are always scheming, plotting, immature, you know what I'm saying? Shaking too much ass, shot o'clock all the time. There's a whole bunch. Yes, girl, Cynthia too. Let me put Cynthia in the Angela group, in the Angela, Portia, Phaedra, Drew group. Yes, that is a bomb group of women. Bomb group of women. The other ladies got to get on their level. I'm just saying. All right. Anyway, Phaedra invites them to a sound bath meditation that she's doing at her home. And they said they'll be there, child, be there, be square. She said all of the ladies are coming. She's hoping that this will help people get on a better page with each other. So this is the purpose of her inviting everybody to her home. And y'all know Phaedra doesn't like to invite women to her home. Okay, so they come out of the car and they head straight to the back. All right, let's talk about Portia. Portia stole the show this episode too, by the way. Her and Sway, my God. Oh my goodness. Anyway, Portia is at the crib, chilling in this beautiful ass house. And she is walking around that house, child, completely elevated. Like you can tell she's on a different level. She's on a different level, whether people like it or not. But she is there with her mama, Diane, and her sister. And y'all see how big that house is, the way she has it decorated, the parts we can see. Y'all know it takes years for people to decorate a house that big. But that little time she spent with Simon, Portia was getting everything decorated, making sure that man paid for everything. Okay. Anyway, she catches them up a little bit anyway on the Dallas trip, never really mentioning the people that she was into it with, like K. Michelle or Shamia or Kelli, because she doesn't need them for a storyline. Just pointing that out. But she does catch them up on the fact that Mike Bless flew all the way to Dallas to be her date at Cynthia's event. Okay. And she said that she was real surprised to see him and everything. And, things are going real good for her and him because she likes dating. She said to her sister and her mama, you know how I am. I love love. So I fall head over heels for whoever I'm dating because, I'm waiting for that next step. I want to get married. I want to do this. I want to do that. But this time I'm taking it easy. I just want to date to date. I just want to, I want to love myself first. And I want others to love me, to adore me, to give me gifts, all the things that there is. So she said, right now I'm dating 2 people. And she said with Mike, she's taking it slow because that man wants a baby. And she is not trying to push any more kids out of her womb. She's not trying to do it. And she said, I think my eggs are, fried anyway. I don't think I have any more. And then she asked her sister, and I want y'all to hear this well. She asked her sister, Lauren, girl, do you have any eggs to spare? Just in case I decide I want to take it to the next level with this man. And Lauren looked at her and said, I don't have any extra to give, baby. Not a one. So going ahead and mark Mike off your list because he's not the one. Okay. Anyway, after that, Lauren lets Portia know that Mike was calling her every damn day because he couldn't get a hold of Portia while she was over there in Dallas. And she said the man was anxious because you weren't answering his phone calls. You weren't taking his text messages. Okay. And Portia said, well, as soon as he flew in for the date, he flew the hell out too. All the women in the house expected him to stay because their men were staying, their husbands and stuff were staying. But she said, me and Mike aren't married, and I don't want that conversation to be had about me amongst the girls. So he caught a plane back to Atlanta, which I thought was hilarious because I said, oh, Portia really does not like this man. I believe it's a storyline anyway. I think that, she just kind of hooked up with him to see if, how it was going to play on the show, even though she says she didn't. But there's no way Portia likes him if she was already patting him on the head and sending him on his goddamn way. So we know that to be true. Anyway, Mike apparently got all the way back to Atlanta and decided to send a mariachi band over to Portia's front door. Okay. Portia lives in a gated community, so I guess he's very resourceful. And he sends a mariachi band over there, and the 3 amigos are setting it off on Portia's front lawn. And while they're playing this music, I'm assuming Dennis can hear it because she said he is a stone throws away from her house And she said, he does not do pop-ups. He knows better. Call me and let me know that you're coming over for Pilar. Don't just pop up at my house. Okay, I like to walk around naked. You don't know who I got up in here. And Dennis just pulled up in the driveway while the mariachi band is playing. So she says she's in the middle of a cha-cha, and she looks back like, what are you doing here? And I thought that was hilarious because we all know, even though Dennis is supposed to have a girlfriend, Dennis is still pining away for Portia. I don't care. Okay? And they still have chemistry, whether she wants to believe it or not. Anyway, they get a big laugh out of that. Portia said that Dennis has pulled a Kanye West, try to live around the block the way Kanye did to Kim. She said, that man had a house all the way on the other side of town. That's where he was supposed to stay. Hilarious. Anyway, Portia then tells Lauren that she's keeping her options open because her mom ends up leaving the room. And she says, I'm dating a woman by the name of Sway, okay? And she said, I'm enjoying myself. I didn't think that, this is what I wanted. But baby, right now I'm having a good time, and I'm not saying no to shit. I'm grown, okay? I'm at an age now where I got the money. I got my children, my child. Right now, I just want to get coupled up and be happy. And I'm exploring all options, is what she tells her sister, okay? And her sister said, well, what if she wants kids? You was just talking about Mike wanting kids. What if she wants kids? And Portia says she got a womb. She has eggs. She can figure it out. She can have her own baby. I don't have to carry for her. And I thought that was an interesting thing to say. Keep this in mind because we're about to talk about Shamia in a half a second, okay? But anyway, Portia says that she feels no pressure to commit to Sway or Mike Bless at the moment, and she doesn't give a damn about what society thinks about her. Let them talk, okay? And that's how it ended. Anyway, there was also a guy who comes to the door with a giant snake and some lizards because Portia wants to gift her daughter Pilar one of the reptiles. Anyway, I thought it was hilarious that Lauren's baby girl touched the snake and said it felt like a purse. Anyway, that's pretty much it. That was the end of the scene. But it's trying to show Portia has grown a little bit in her life. Twice divorced by men who couldn't stand her afterwards, who did everything they could to, shit on her star, to shit on her name. And now she's just in a place where she doesn't care. And I actually like this side of Portia, to be honest. All right, let's move on to Shamia. Miss Shamia, my goodness, is at the doctor's office. She's sitting there by herself. She is at the, what is this lady? I guess she's like the surrogate. She runs the office for the surrogacy, right? And Shamia is there without her husband Gerald, even though we know that this is an important moment for both of them, both Shamia and for Gerald, right? This is important. You guys are trying to move forward with using your last embryo, your last male embryo at that, to have a baby. So anyway, she's there, and then as soon as her friend Kelli, because this is who's accompanying her on this meeting, as soon as Kelli comes in, she starts crying. And Kelly's like, this is supposed to be a good moment for you. You're supposed to be happy. What's going on? And she was just like, I don't know what's going to happen, girl. Basically Gerald's giving her the blues. She said that he wants this son, and now he's making demands on her. She had this movie last year. I think it was the one with Todd. Was it with Todd? If y'all know, put it in the comments. But I think Todd had a movie or a play called Don't Trust Your Man in Atlanta or something like that. Whatever. I think that was it. But Shamia had a very intimate love scene with a man. And I remember Britt calling her names and saying that she was, doing, if I'm not mistaken, it was Britt saying that she was doing, the corn on TV or in the movies. And it was that scene. That's how intense that scene was. Okay. Well, last year, when after the movie had played and Gerald went to the premiere, Gerald said that he liked the movie. He said, "You did a great job." Well, now Gerald doesn't like the movie. He's ashamed by it. And he told her that he does not want her to do that shit anymore. And if that's what's going to be asked of her, I guess he's telling her she has to quit. Now, a lot of us, me in particular, have been saying there's something else going on with Shamia, because there's no way in hell that she just figured this out, within the last 30 seconds or 30 minutes of filming. This is something that's been going on in that house for a minute. And Shamia has been saying, I need to make my own money, because she is fearful that maybe this isn't what Gerald wants anymore. And she knows it. And I told y'all, when I've been watching them on screen, there is a real big disconnect, a huge one. So she's sitting up here now sharing this with Kelli. "Oh, I don't know. I think he's trying to tell me not to follow my dreams and my career and blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, oh shit, that's intense. And it's interesting that she's bringing this to the show, because if he was embarrassed by that shit, you know what I'm saying? Then he certainly doesn't want this on screen. That's why he jumps up and runs out of that camera, out of line of that camera every time. He doesn't want to have this conversation. I think that this is probably embarrassing to him, and maybe to his culture or to his family. I had some people in my comment section say that his family doesn't like Shamia very much, and I don't know how true that is. It's alleged, but people did leave that in my comment section. Come on in. Welcome everybody. But yeah, as of right now, y'all, I mean, I see y'all saying if it's a boy, if they don't have a boy, it's over. I think if they have a boy, it's over. Children don't save marriages. If they're already here in this space, she's been married for what, like close to 10 years, maybe 11 years. If they're already here and she's like determined, because everybody was asking the same question. Why are you choosing this show now when you know your husband was dead set against it? Why would you choose it? You don't need it. Or do you? My guess is it's do you, because she's going to have a scene in this season where she sits with Gerald and tells him that she wants to make her own money. And he doesn't like that shit at all. And you can tell. So you got to be careful. You get in these relationships, you're not equally yoked. These men don't get what they want from you, and they put your ass back on the corner. Okay, I found you at McDonald's, going back to McDonald's. And something tells me that Shamia, maybe she signed a prenup that's not in her favor. I don't know. Possibly. But the girl has like 18 jobs. She has 18 jobs, and she's trying to make sure she hits all the markers. And she is willing to burn everything down in order to make a name for herself. And she's desperate. That's what it's coming. It's coming across as desperate to me. But she's sitting here having this conversation with Kelli, and Kelli tries to console her and basically says that the duck, who is Gerald, isn't walking like a duck or talking like a duck, when she knows damn well that's exactly what happened between her and her husband. And so she really should be giving Shamia some better advice. You're running around here doing liquor deals in Grenada, a deal that you're not even for sure is gonna work for real. And your husband's telling you this is some bullshit, and you still go with it anyway. I kept asking, why would somebody be that unsmart? Why are you on planes listening to the businesswomen talk about bankruptcy like this? Oh, I'm so intrigued. I need to soak it all in. But when the man you're married to, who you said make a new business every month, you don't want to have anything to do with it. You don't want him to have anything to do with what you got going on. Someone's lying is what it sounds like. There's a lot going on. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, she ends up going in to have her meeting with the head of the surrogacy company. And the lady says, "Where's Gerald? He's always, he's usually here." And then Shamia says, "It's the cameras." And the in production left it in green because you think this is something that they might not leave. They're playing your ass, girl. I've told y'all that they've been playing Shamia all season. They've been playing Shamia all season, and they are. So they leave that in because they don't care if your marriage breaks up. You shouldn't have signed this contract for this nice sum of money. They're going to get a show out of you. Not the fake one either. They're going to get the real show. Or they're going to put something on TV that looks similar to it. So now she's sitting there and she's like, "I'm so nervous because this is our last male embryo and I don't know if it's going to take." And I think the surrogacy lady said, "Well, have you thought about adopting eggs? And then, we can make embryos with Gerald's sperm." And she's like, I haven't thought about it. I didn't even know that was an option." Then you don't want this baby, because there's no way in hell. We had a scene with Portia Williams, who literally is having a conversation with her sister about a man she's casually dating. Girl, I don't know if it's going to move into the next lane, but if it does, would you be willing to give me some of your eggs so that I can make this man's dreams come true? And you mean to tell me that this man wants a child? He wants a male child more than anything, and you haven't thought about the next steps if this didn't work out? This is what makes me, as a viewer, not like Shamia, not trust Shamia. That's not how people think. Women think through all of this shit. It's my last one. What do I do next? Who can I get to get embryos? Even Kelli is like, "Well, maybe your sister can give you embryos." Well, that means that would be her child. No, I would never do that. Shamia, I'm so hurt that you didn't think this all the way out. I really am. I think that you have way too much money not to read, or you know what I'm saying? Not to be serious about the shit your husband is serious about. If you're sitting here crying and saying, "What happens next?" you should have already thought of it. That's how smart you should be. And I don't know. I just don't like this scene. I don't believe her. He's either already told you, "No, I don't want another woman's baby unless I'm married to her. And in that case, I'm divorcing you." He might have said that. But the shit you're saying, I don't trust. I don't trust it. She is a goofball. She is the all I'm saying is, in a fake scene, because I don't even believe that Portia and Mike Bless are truly dating. In a fake scene, Portia had already thought 5 steps ahead about freezing her sister's eggs. And Shamia's like, I never thought of that. Girl, good night. That is so dumb. Anyway, that's how the scene ends. Let's move on to Portia and Sway. Portia and Sway. I don't think I've seen this kind of chemistry with Portia since her baby daddy Dennis. Okay, I didn't see that kind of chemistry with Cordell. I didn't see that kind of chemistry with Simon. We saw it. It drips with her and Dennis, and it dripped with Sway. I said, baby, Portia's innards are tingly right now. You could see it in the scene. But anyway, Portia and Sway goes on a date. Apparently, they had met at a speakeasy maybe 8 or 10 years ago, and they hit it off. Okay, hit it off so much that they exchanged numbers so that they could, meet and hang out again. But I guess Portia decided to ghost her because she said she had too much going on. I don't know. I don't know. But they decided to come back to this location for their first date. Okay. And like I said, Portia was smitten. You could see it all over her face, but she's not the only one. Unless this is, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe this is just Sway swag. But Sway looked very smitten with Portia. Very smitten with Portia, okay? But the two of them was sitting up there giving each other googly eyes, child. And at one point, I guess Portia thought the girl was reading her soul or some shit, because she said, don't stare at me like that. I went, oh shit. She said, don't look at me like that. She was like, I'm just trying to connect. I mean, they were flirting. Do you hear me? But Portia was on her grown flirting. She wasn't gushing the way she usually was. We've seen her with Dennis, right? That first night with Dennis, I said, baby, I think Portia and Dennis locked themselves in a room, closed the blinds, to the point of they didn't know what time of day it was or what day of the week it was. That's how hard and long they were getting it in. You know what I'm saying? You could just tell. Then after that, they was tattooing each other's names on each other. So you know when somebody's having hot heavy. She was googly over Dennis. She's doing the same thing here, but she's trying to be a little more collected. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Sway says that she wants to have a little drinking game, and she asked the waiter to bring like a flute or a flight of shots, right? And she said, I'm gonna ask you 3 questions, and I guess you get the question wrong, whatever the case may be, you take the shot. Okay, so they're asking each other questions. I guess Sway wins the game, child. And she was asking questions like, could you see yourself settled down with a woman? And do you see yourself the rest of your life with a woman? Because you've dated men, at least publicly, you've dated men. But I'm not a bitch that you keep in the closet. You know what I'm saying? This is what she's saying. You brought me on this show. I'm also not a heifer that you're going to keep in the closet. Cool. Anyway, after that, Portia said, wow, it sounds like you're asking if you want to propose. And Sway said, damn it, bring the ring. Damn it, bring the ring, is what Sway says. I was sitting there with the biggest smile on my face, like we are watching a love connection right before our eyes, okay? Then Portia said that she asked, how, where do I fit in? How do you see me? And Portia said, I'm taking things slow. And, currently I'm dating another person, a man. And Sway rolled her eyes like, bitch, whatever. And she said, but I don't want you to think I take you as a joke. And Sway said, I definitely don't think that, bitch. Okay? I'm a lot of things, but a joke ain't one. Okay? There's a whole lot of men who should be taking notes from Sway because the confidence was off the chain. Anyway, after that, this was the killer for me. I sat there with my mouth open. You know how people tell you when you are dating, you are supposed to ask for what you want, you demand it, and you make sure that whoever is trying to date you understand it. The way everybody called Portia a gold digger, bitch, how dare you get out of that man's house? You took an allowance from him. Do you know Portia sat across from that woman and said, bitch, we ain't going 50 my ass. She said, listen, I know you can take care of me. Make no mistake. If you're dating me, the same rule applies. You pay all the bills. You give me my allowance. Okay. And whatever else, you're paying for everything. Make no mistake. And I sat there like, God damn. And this is how you get it done. Because if there's one thing, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. If there's one thing that Black women do not do, is ask for what we deserve. We believe that we got to work our knuckles to the bone for everything. Look at, I mean, everything. Everything has to be hard. Love got to be a struggle. There are people who know how to ask for what they want and still go out and get theirs. Because the one thing Portia is doing is she has her businesses. Is she still doing her job? She sat down for a second with Simon, but she even had it in the prenup, bitch. After 2 years, I'm back on my game. So just so people know, you can ask for what you want and still go to work. And if people want you, if that man or woman or whatever wants you, they'll meet you where you are. She didn't scream it. You got to take care of me. You know what I'm saying? She said, I have no doubt that you can take care of me and that you'll give me what I want. And you know what Sway said? She said, hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's how she said it. And I'm telling you, my eyes was bucked open like, bitch. What? Oh my God. Let it be a lesson. Kelli, let it be a lesson, baby. You should be dating a man who you have 3 aliases for. Get a pen, get a pad, start writing this shit down, girl. Oh my goodness. Anyway, she certainly said it, and it was shocking. And she let people know, I don't give a fuck who you are. What did she say last week? This prime puss, if you want it, you're going to do what you're supposed to do. They get it, okay? Got Dennis moved around the corner so that he can get it again, okay? Anyway, after that, Portia said, what do you require? Where do you see yourself within the next 5 years? And Sway said, in a relationship? And she said, yeah. She said, oh no, baby, not 5 years. Within 1 year, I want to be locked in with whoever I'm having my life with. I also want a child, okay? I want my eggs cracked. I want my eggs cracked, and I want to carry my own baby. That's what she tells Portia. Okay. Anyway, Sway then said, let me know about your baby daddy. What type of motherfucker is he? I mean, I carry, you know what I'm saying? Most studs do. I'm a carrier, so I need to know if this is somebody, when I'm coming to visit your house, am I always going to have my shit unlocked? Or do I, or what? What? Let me know. And Portia said, listen, you know, when I'm not dating, he's cool. She said, I'm sure. And she said, but when I am dating, he does get, you know, a little possessive. And she said, got it. Like, not got it, I don't want to be with you, but got it like, oh, cool. Now I know. Now I know who I'm dealing with. Because you and me are going to continue in this journey. I just got to know how I need to handle Dennis. Because it's not like I don't know. Okay. That shit was phenomenal. Phenomenal. Anyway, Sway tells Portia that she won the prize. She won the game. Whatever this drinking game was, she kind of did a little checkmate number. And Portia said, what are you doing? What's that about? She said, I won. And Portia said, well, what's the prize? And Sway gives her this look like, are you asking me what the prize is? And then they started doing a little dance and shit. And I said, yep. I don't know where Pilar is. Hopefully she sent her over there to Lawrence, but Portia is about to lock in that night, period. Okay. That night of filming, that's when they locked in. And anyway, that's it. I just wanted to say it was a phenomenal scene, and Portia made it all about her. She didn't mention any of the people on this show that have problems with her because she doesn't require them for her storyline. I also wanted to point that out. But that scene I mean, probably one of the better ones we've had in a long time. It was a genuine scene to me. Okay, y'all, now we're at the end of the show, and this is at Phaedra's house. Oh my goodness. Phaedra lives next door. I guess she said it was Kenny Rogers' house. Y'all know the country singer. Phaedra lives in a very, very rich neighborhood, and she don't mind letting people know how rich she is. Okay. She's so rich that she just thinks of crazy shit to do for fun so that she can talk about it at dinner parties. Okay. And right now, Phaedra said, I'm a Reiki master. Now, there is nothing about Phaedra's lifestyle that says she should be a Reiki anything, let alone a Reiki master. But she said, baby, I get bored. You know what I'm saying? I start scrolling on TikTok and I'm like, bitch, I can do this. I can do this too. And so she has made herself a Reiki master so that when she goes over to them crazy parties, she'll be able to talk to people and get invited to the next party. Because that's all rich people do is get involved in crazy shit like that so that they can talk about how fun it is. That's it. Anyway, all of the cast is headed over to Phaedra's house for this sound bath meditation in her back pool. Okay, in her pool, she has all of these floaty beds, and people just lay down with a blanket over them, and someone guides them through this meditation. She said that she wanted to make sure everybody had their bathing suit so that they can come and chill. And Cynthia is the first to arrive at the party, and they're talking about the food that's going to be cooked and all this other shit. And then Portia arrives in this mesh swimsuit, very similar to the mesh swimsuit that Phaedra wore when her and Apollo were married. Y'all remember Kenya had made fun of her and put those booty implants in, those booty pads on, but Miss Portia comes in reminiscing, doing a little throwback, paying homage to Miss Phaedra. And it happened to have been a thong, just like Phaedra had on, child. And Portia's ass is so big, it's the size of 2 planets. It's the size of 2 planets. And Miss Cynthia Bailey, who is working with a monster, Cynthia is dragging a wagon back there, okay? The old school wagon with the horses. With the horses, okay? Cynthia took one look at Portia's ass and her eyes bucked open like this. And I said, girl, do you know what your butt looked like? That was the funniest scene in the whole episode. But she grabbed her damn imaginary pearls and went, Jesus Christ. Portia's ass is so big, it's like she has 2 individual asses on her back. I don't know, but it was funny to me. It was funny to me, okay? Anyway, listen, those ladies are gorgeous. I know when we talk about people, whatever, but they are beautiful women and people love them, okay? I'm talking about the fact that Cynthia, who when she was walking down that runway, when she was on her first season or first or second season of Atlanta, and she was walking down the runway, there was a friend of hers who was like, baby, you are no longer a size 4. She was like, are you serious? He went, oh my God. She was like, well, at least a 6. He went, could you get me a size 10? Bitch, that ass is huge. And then when she was walking down the runway, all of the cast was like, Jesus, Cynthia. Jesus, Cynthia. And Cynthia is at least 20 times bigger than that now. At least 20 times. She's still beautiful as hell, but I thought that was hilarious. Okay. Anyway, after all of that, Drew ends up arriving finally on time because y'all know Drew has been locked out of events. She's come after the event is over. Okay. She gets blocked out, you name it. But this time her ass finally arrives on time. And everybody said, girl, we just happy that you figured it out because, child, we wasn't even counting on you being here. I almost didn't set up another dinner plate, okay? Anyway, the other ladies, Kay and Pinky, they're in a car. They're running late. And also Shamia and Kelli are in a car. They're running late. But in the car with Kay and Pinky, dear God, this is where Kay is telling Pinky Cole that her ex-boyfriend, who she dumped to marry her husband, a man that she's been dating on and off again since high school, she says that this man called her the other day. She has to be only 45 days married, y'all. Called her the other day to say that he slept with Portia. If that isn't disrespectful, I don't know what is. I would never let a man call, nobody should, in your honeymoon phase. I realize y'all been married, y'all been together for a little while, but there's some shit you got to turn all the way off, and it's men like that. So the fact that he called you to tell you, I just want you to know I'm sleeping with Portia. I also want you to know the things she said, even though the majority of it was complimentary, according to what Portia says. Like, even if I did say that, you just said that I didn't say anything bad. The shit that I said about you was complimentary. Yeah, so she's saying this to Pinky Cole, talking about, well, he's African, of course. And Pinky is getting like a high off of it. Oh my God, he's African. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? And then she goes on, like I said earlier in this video, she goes on to really shame him, talking about, yeah, everything was good until he put his bare feet on my countertop, and that was it for me. Well, if it was it for you, if that was the turnoff, then what is this? Why would you mention it? And if she would have told me, I would have let her know about the bare feet. You date men who are okay with what your ass is doing. You have an exploding ass that you have to go get reconstructive surgery on every couple of whatever months, and may have to for the rest of your life. That just seems like, I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like that she was like, he's African, of course. I didn't know where she was going with that. I didn't like it. I didn't like how she talked about him, the bare feet thing. If you don't think that this man is a caliber of man you like, then he's not your friend either. He's not your caliber for dating. He's not your caliber for friendship. You don't like him. That was disrespectful. But to say all of that, hey, Kevin, hey, everybody, welcome. To say all of that and still have this conversation with Pinky like it's Portia who's betraying you when you're betraying your good friend, a man that you were on a game show with. Okay, what was the show called? Queen's Court. You were on a game show with that man, and you didn't take him seriously because you dumped him to make your husband, who didn't propose to you, get off the pot. He had to shit or get off the pot. That's what you said. So anyway, girl, again, just I don't understand where K Michelle's coming from. But she's saying all this to Pinky Cole, and Pinky's getting her life, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, they finally make it to the sound bath after she tells Pinky that, she has to keep her bandages on. And so she's still taking the bandages on and off for the surgery, and she can't get wet. So she's not allowed in the pool. She's just going to sit on the patio and do the meditation from there, right? Shamia and Kelli finally get there. And when Shamia gets her fine self in the pool, her float, I guess, has a leak in it and it starts sinking. So, hey, Lady D Keys, it starts sinking. So she ends up saying that she believes that Phaedra tried to kill her. Pinky and K. Michelle also make comments about it. Like, I think these ladies, might be practicing witchcraft and they almost tried to kill Shamia. It was kind of a joke, but also you can tell that they kind of meant it. You know what I'm saying? It definitely wasn't good spirited. All right, so that was basically it. All the ladies did the meditation. They get out the water. Little Aiden was there. He's not little anymore, child. He's a grown man. He was over there in that pool with his shirt off around all those ladies in their bathing suits and their bathing suits, helping out his mama, child. Anyway, very handsome children that Phaedra has. All right, let's move to the dinner table, y'all. This is where all the action takes place. So Kay ends up saying that she wants to address the plot that she couldn't get out of her mouth in Dallas, that she was crying and dry heaving about, that plot. Now she said that she has her bearings about her. And even though she's not going to dare tell who told her, because that's not important, she is going to say that she believes the plot to have been between Phaedra, the host of the party, where her seat is firmly planted under her table and eating her food. She said, Phaedra, you definitely had something to do with it. Portia and Drew. Anyway, Portia tells Kay, she didn't blink, she didn't miss words. She said, baby, I would have preferred you to simply say you didn't want to be my friend. In other words, you could have told production you didn't want me to bring your ass in here. Okay? I thought I was doing you a solid, but since this happened, and clearly you don't like me, bitch, because you would have had more respect for me than you are showing right now. But she said, if you would have done that, I would have been cool. We could start it off as fucking enemies, period. Kay admits she doesn't know Portia from a hole in the wall because she keeps saying, you claim you my friend. You claim you my friend. That's all she's been saying this entire time. But here at this dinner table, she basically admits we don't know each other, right? We don't know each other. And I'm going to tell you something. When I was sitting at that damn table with you and Kelli, and I watched you accuse Kelli of sleeping with a married man, that's when I knew that you are the type of bitch to give low blows. And I was not expecting that. K. Michelle, a person who says whatever she's thinking, never stops to process it. Is this going to offend? Could this be said better? That K. Michelle. She has a problem with the fact that Portia Williams sat with Kelli and said to Kelli's face, this is a man I'm talking about. This is the day it fucking happened. And I'm bringing it to you the same way you tried to bring it to me, bitch. On TV. You did it with Shamia. I'm repaying the favor. Everybody else would have called that standing on business. But not K. Michelle. For whatever reason, K. Michelle turns into a little mouse. I can't believe you did that. Oh my God. Girl, get out of here. Not to mention, she says, my other problem with you is you saying that I had a miscarriage when I was telling everybody about my ass exploding. Earth to K. Michelle. People's butts exploding is not common. That's not a common experience. People don't know about it. They don't understand it. If you say I sat on a couch, I stood up, there was liquid everywhere, it went through the sofa, your first thought would be, is it a miscarriage? That's normal. That's common. Especially from another woman, that's common. Asses exploding, not common. No, nobody thinks it. That is a special group of people who might deal with that problem. But never in a million years would I say that to anybody. And the fact that you, again, somebody who a lot of people thought was very smart, would be that slow. I don't even think you're that slow. I just think you're grabbing at anything to have a problem with the queen of the show. That's what I think. Because everything else is BS. Nobody's interested in your husband who's a dentist with the big schlong. We don't care. You don't have a story. Okay? Anyway, in this scene, K. Michelle changes the story again about who told her what. Remember when she was crying and Shamia came and she sat beside her and said, "You clear my name. Make sure you tell them I didn't do it because everybody wants to pile up on me. A bunch of people just kissing Portia's ass." And you said you knew about the plot in Atlanta before y'all even started filming, before you started buying your house. That's what you said. Not in this scene. You switched it yet again. This time you said that while you were in Dallas, someone told you. I thought you got the call beforehand. I thought it was circulating and all you were doing was sitting there and watching. Because you see everything. You said I was watching and seeing who was going to do what. And it's the audience who doesn't know the behind the scenes. But you were able to catch it. That's not what you said here, which is how I know you definitely will be calling Shamia's name, if not in this season, somewhere in an interview or somewhere offline in the next one if you come back, because you don't keep your damn story straight for shit. And everybody thinks that you're not a liar. Well, you're definitely not telling the truth. You literally are getting caught in a whole plethora of lies. Anyway, Kate then tells Portia that she knows Portia is trying to expose her, even though in the interview that she did with Cam Newton, she said it wasn't Portia who started it. It was Drew, somebody she was taken up for when she was talking to Shamia. Another way we know she's lying. So here she says, "I know you're trying to expose me." Portia said, "About what? Bitch, for what? What would I be exposing you about?" Kay says, "Now why would I tell you when you already know?" Lame. Then she tells Portia, "You have the spirit of exposure." Now Kelli chimes in. And this was not the time, Kelli, because you were saying Portia was lying and you didn't even know the man she was talking about when she said you slept with a married man. So if she's exposing it, that means you did it, correct? Because if she has a spirit of exposure and you say, "I know that's right," that means what she said about you was true. Because a liar can't expose shit. A lie is a lie. So see how you just told on yourself, Heifer? You told on yourself. Okay, so now she done jumped herself in it and she's probably feeling bad because she realizes, shit. Did I just put myself out there? So now she got to make it mean something. Yes, you did, ho. Because everybody else was quiet as a church mouse. Everybody else. Not even Drew chimed in until she had to. But Angela and who else? And Pinky was talking about how good that damn organic food was. This damn salad, I ain't never had anything like it. I can taste colors when I eat the tomato. When I eat this lettuce, I taste colors. That's how fresh this shit is. Not one person spoke. Not to them anyway. But now, Phaedra's trying to be the peacemaker. So Phaedra's like, "Well, I think what you're trying to say," and before she can get the words out, K. Michelle said, Phaedra says, "There's 3 things that you have on your list." So Phaedra wants to kind of work it down. Let's talk about the 3 things that you just presented. And then Kay yells, "and black." So there's 4 things. Black is the fourth thing. So now she's activated Miss Drew Sidora. Hold on, y'all. Because Drew is like, oh, Lord, child, why do you keep bringing that man's name up? I don't even bring him up. I'm sitting here having enjoyed my time. Leave his name out of your mouth, right? And K. Michelle said, why do you care? Because she does, because that's her man in the phone. Why would you bring him up? What does Black have to do with anything? But now Kay is going after Drew Sidor harder than she goes after Portia, period. But she's telling her that she's gonna whoop her ass and don't make me you lady, you lady, you lady. And she's yodeling and she's going nutso. And that's when Phaedra is like, baby, everybody calm down. This is a nice ass neighborhood. I have a noise ordinance. There's a noise ordinance over here. Take that ghetto shit back to your side of town. Not over here, you don't. Okay? And she's right. Shh. We outside and y'all acting like a bunch of hyenas. Get out of town. Anyway, when Phaedra said that shit, I hollered because that was that was the funniest thing ever. But anyway, after that comes out, after she threatens Drew, and now Phaedra's just fit to be tied because really she's looking at her wrist to see when it's time for y'all to go home. Because, baby, y'all got to get the hell up out of here. This is why I don't let Apollo come into the house. Apollo has to come into the yard, call for them boys, and they go outside to meet him. I don't even have the windows open when Apollo comes. I don't want him looking inside, okay? But now I got to get you guys the hell up out of here. Anyway, now Kay says, and another thing to Portia Williams. Because Portia's like, girl, I'm ready to go home too. And Kay says, listen, I got a call from my ex-boyfriend, Nash. Do you know who that is? And Portia said, yeah, I know. Gives a shit. And K. Michelle said, well, Nash called me and said that you two were together. You bouncing up and down on my ex. And he also said that you told him that you always end up with other people's men. I just want to point out the number of stories K. Michelle told about dating married men, being in their house when their wives show up, being on flying out to vacation spots, knowing their wives were there. That all happened within these past 5 days. And this is what she's bringing to the table. And Angela Oakley is sitting there with her eyeballs open so big, like, that bullshit ass story that I brought to season 1 about Phaedra, Jesus Christ, why didn't y'all tell me that it gets real over here? Okay? Yes, baby, it gets real. So y'all better bring it with real storylines because these fake ones, we can sniff them a mile away. But anyway, Portia is sitting there looking at her and she said, listen, I wasn't dating that man while you were dating him. And then she said, I didn't even know you. We weren't even cool when I dated that man. And K. Michelle agrees with her. She didn't say, no, you lying bitch. I stopped dating him and you started dating him. By that time we knew blah, 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 blah. She didn't say that. She said, I agree. I agree. We weren't dating him at the same time. I agree. You had your time with him way before you and I ever knew each other. But then she says, I still should have gotten a heads up. Well, bitch, maybe you were the one who was supposed to give Portia the heads up. You ever think about that? But she says, I should have gotten a heads up because you knew that was my last real boyfriend before I married my husband. Why would that upset you, heifer? It makes no sense. But she goes on to say that Portia should have, at the very minimum, told her that she had some relationship with some man named Nash prior to bringing her into this friendship group. And for that, she'll never forgive Portia. I just can't trust you. There's no way in hell you could be a real friend bringing me into this friendship group knowing you was with my ex. None of us know how to feel about that. None of us in the viewing audience know how to feel about it because you and Portia aren't real friends. You don't know each other. Your friendship was for this bullshit alone. And without trying to break the fourth wall, you're breaking it all over the fucking place. Unbelievable. Thank you. I appreciate you for blessing the channel. And I appreciate you for the compliment, girl. Because we are confused, Kay. We know you have better sense than this. So I don't know. What is happening, child? Is there something else going on? So now everybody is trying to chime in, right? Phaedra said, is in her confessional, and she's like, child, listen, me and Portia used to date the same guy. I think I told her about it when she started dating him. It is what it is. This is Atlanta. It's a small ass city. And I remember there was another storyline where Phaedra said she was dating a guy that Candy used to date. So this is something that's happened before and nobody acted a fool about it. Not at all. Okay? It's what the elders call mixy. Don't be mixy. Okay? Ask questions before you even start, right? Anyway, after that, Portia tells Kay, you are way too sensitive. In other words, I don't know what your triggers are, Kay. And I'm not going to be sitting here trying to figure it out, walking on eggshells. Every place your foot lands is a landmine, okay? You are a landmine full of emotions. I'm never doing it. I'm never doing it. We're through. She's not lying. That was the right way to handle it. Anyway, K. Michelle told her, listen, I'm not sensitive. I just want to know who's around me to watch my back. And Portia said, you ain't got to worry about your back no motherfucking more. How about that? Because I don't give a damn enough about you to want to have anything to do with you. Not past, present, or future. We're done. At all. At all. And that shuts that whole thing down. And I believe every word she said. I'm not making any type of amends with you. Girl, this entire conversation is way too slow for me. Now, Miss Kelly, who knows that Portia shut K. Michelle the hell down and that the whole conversation was stupid, because everybody sitting at the table is like, is this real? I mean, nobody has conversations about a man. Can you imagine Angela arguing with one of the ladies about a man she used to date when she trying to keep fucking Charles in the house? Okay? K. Michelle is out here telling everybody that she watches her husband sleep with other women. And this is what she's bringing to the show. Garbage storyline. I'm just telling you. But Phaedra attempts to mediate what happens there. And she says, listen, I think what we've established, and before she can get another word out of her mouth, here comes Kelly with the kill, because she told on herself when she said Portia is the queen of exposure. She told on herself. And she ends up saying, after she said what we're trying to establish, Kelly said that Portia has fucked every man in Atlanta. Every African in Atlanta, Portia has had a little bouncy time on. And Portia, with this long ass fingernail, honey, let me see if I can find something, child. Portia was inches away from this lady's nose. Portia started flicking that finger at that girl's nose. And when I tell y'all, she was seconds away from popping, booping that damn nose. She said, let me tell you something, bitch. And she kept doing that. and cussing at Kelli and said, just because you slept with a married man, blankety blank, blampity blah. And Kelli recognized that that finger was going to hit that nose eventually. So Kelli took that very fragile wine glass and she started doing like this to Portia's face. Boop. And Portia said, bitch, get that glass out my face. And I'm telling you right now, out of nowhere, about 50 producers, security, whomever they were, swarmed the set. And they picked Kelli ass up out that seat and moved her. And there was at least 3 or 4 on Kelli, 2 men on Portia. They both pushed Portia back. While that's happening, Angela's eyes is like, I cannot believe what I'm watching. Girl, watch. Because this is real TV sets, okay? People want to act like this shit don't go down like this in real life. This happens for real. This is an advanced set. Let's get gone. They start walking Kelli's ass up to that front. Kelli couldn't have broke out of that if she wanted to. And the whole time, don't play with me, bitch. She's saying all of that. And Portia said, baby, I told Phaedra I wasn't going to say the name, but that's not going to stop me from leaving these breadcrumbs, okay? Here's the Blues Clues, bitch. He's a preacher. She also said he's a client of Phaedra, the whole family. And she said, child, the man wasn't a stewardess on that plane. I saw some of the comment section, not a stewardess. He was on the plane, Delta, first class. By the end, I think it was yesterday or was it this morning, the way everybody on social media pulled about 6 ministers who was at the BET Awards. They had their names, their wives' names, the children, who was following Phaedra, who wasn't. Oh my God. And like I said, Portia said, you want me to be a dirty bitch? I'll be a dirty bitch. I'm going to tell everything I know. And don't make me say the name. But as of right now, ho, you know exactly who I'm talking about. And you can say she's lying if you want to. But I'm telling you now, that type of stuff just doesn't come off the dome when you're angry. That's something that you already got the details for. You already got the details for. And she was spewing them. And then you have Kelli at the top of Phaedra's porch area, the landing. And you got Shamia and Pinky and all of them trying to fan her. Girl, do you hear what that heifer still has on mic? At this point, what we do know for sure is that whoever watches this show, if that wife watches the show, the wife knows. If it's a friend of the wife that watches the show, the friend knows. And she's called the wife. Because Portia said, you know exactly who I'm talking about to Phaedra. And Phaedra threw her hands up in defeat. She went, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. And that's how it ended. Episode 7. I mean, even though I think, Kay is a little cuckoo-cachoo. Is a little cuckoo-cachoo. This is one of the better seasons because, baby, once you get them OGs activated, we're going to get good old school TV. Anyway, Portia ended up telling a producer who had her head scarf shit tied on, she said, don't you ever sit me next to a bitch like that again. Okay? Don't ever do it. Let me get the exact words, child, because the way she set that damn producer in and put her in check, she said, don't you ever in your life sit no bitch next to me again, is what she told the producer. And that producer knew to just nod her head. Okay. Because she's done. I can't wait till next week. I don't know what y'all paying Portia, but give them more. Give her more. Okay. Everybody wanted her to clock in last season. Um, and listen, she's making up for what she couldn't do last season with the house, with her dating life, with her real family, mom, sister, baby daddy. She's doing all the things people ask for and with the cast. So I'm liking Portia Williams. I think she is clocked in this season. It was a good episode to me. I give it a solid 10 out of 10. Portia was my scene snatcher for the episode. My clown, I'm going to give it to both Kelli. Actually, I'm just going to give it to K. Michelle. Kelli, I'm not going to give you the clown. I think that you are struggling. And I think that I think that you are angry at Portia. You have a reason to be. I'm not going to say that you should take it lying down. And you did clock into this episode. You recognized, bitch, now's my time. What you actually did this episode was save it, because K. Michelle brought it down a couple of pegs. K. Michelle brought it down a couple of pegs, and how you handled yourself, baby, brought it right back up. So good for you. Now, I did ask you guys to take a poll. I wanted to see whose side you were on. And so you guys voted in the chat. And if you are watching the replay, go ahead and put your vote in the comment section. But I said, whose side are you on? Is it K. Michelle or Portia? And 88% of you said you are on Portia's side, while only 12% said you are on K. Michelle's side. And that is it, y'all. That was the show. So I appreciate all of y'all coming by the fireside chat tonight. I didn't realize I would get this type of audience after 10 o'clock on a Monday, but clock it. This is how we're going to do it next week too, because this is the bigger audience for me with RHOA. Okay. You said, are we able to vote Kelli off the island? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. At this point, I like the interaction more between Kelli and Portia than I do between Kelli and K. Michelle. K. Michelle got to find somebody else to get involved with. Do you think that the new girls are trying to get Portia off the show? I think that they're trying to make a name for themselves with Portia, but I think that it's backfiring for both Kelli and Michelle. K. Michelle. But I think K. Michelle has more to offer. I'm not sure why she's taking this route, but I think that she believes, similar to what Portia said when she did the interview with Carlos King, I think she thought that Shamea was the winning team. She hasn't locked into Shamea. And I explained to you guys earlier in this review that Shamea gets a lot of things wrong. And you saw her earlier in the episode when she was in her confessional and she said, damn it, I got to apologize again, because she messes up. She messes up a lot, and she gets a lot of people emotionally involved in her bad bone carrying. She carries the bone horribly. Okay. Oh, thank you, Meek Mills. I love your name. I love how you have it spelled, Meek Mills. But thank y'all. Thank you so much for coming in and hanging out. Okay. I'm about to get myself to bed so I can get my exercise on in the morning. But if you haven't already, please hit the like button and share this video. Also, become a subscriber if you are not already. Thank you to my fabulous moderators for coming through and hanging out. Also, thank you to Candy But Sweet. I appreciate you for blessing the channel. Make sure y'all follow me on all platforms at DYANAROZAY. And until the next one, bye guys.